Okay, guys, Adam Trigger here. It is Saturday morning. It's time for another Major League Baseball free pick. Today, we're going to head out west. This is one of the late games tonight. We're going to talk White Sox and Angels. And if you have been watching Total Bases, that's our daily show, 9 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. You've probably profited at this point on the White Sox. We have talked about them ad nauseum on the show. At the 90-game mark, we spent a long portion of the show that day sort of talking about the White Sox. And one of the big points that I made was, this is a team at that point that was 30-60. And I felt very strongly that the White Sox going forward would not lose 2/3 of their games. I felt like they were more of a 500 team, the way they were playing with some of the new players that came up from AAA. And, obviously they're looking forward to next year. And that's, they've even far exceeded my expectations at this point. They've played 20 games since that show, and they're 11-9 straight up. And 11-9 might not seem like much, but when you consider that they're plus money every single game, they've got to be one of the most profitable teams just, against the, I guess you would call it against the number through that span. And I don't really see them slowing down at all because I really believe that this is kind of what this team is now. They have a good collection of guys that have played together, kind of come up through the system together. So the guys on the field for the White Sox right now, for the most part, are not the players that have done the majority of losing the past few years for Chicago. They're guys that are getting their first taste of big league play, guys like Colson Montgomery, Kyle Teal, Edgar Caro. They're, first taste of big league play. Corey Julks came up the other day. He's had a tremendous season at AAA. And, it's like they don't know better. They don't know 100-loss seasons at this point. They're just out there trying to compete, trying to start their big league careers. And it's just a much different vibe from the White Sox team that we saw earlier this year, and then the one we've seen really be historically bad the past couple of years. So even with the current run, there's still value on this White Sox team on a day-to-day basis. Now, admittedly, the one guy that I'm really not going out of my way to back, as far as like from a starting pitching standpoint, would be Aaron Civale. He's kind of the one I've tried to avoid. I see that kind of the least upside with him out of, the guys that are out of the White Sox starting pitchers right now. But there is something to be said. Like, he's been better since he's shown up in Chicago. So remember, this is a guy that the Brewers were either going to option down to AAA or probably ask to pitch out of the bullpen. And he went and asked them for a trade. He basically said, no, I want to be a starter. Just trade me somewhere. And he landed in Chicago, and he's gotten to start every fifth day. So Civale's got to be happy to be here because I don't think another team was going to take him, considering what he looked like for Milwaukee earlier this year. And he's shown up since he's shown up in Chicago. He hasn't been bad. He hasn't been good, like great, but he also hasn't been terrible. 4.10 ERA, 1.32 WHIP, about a 2.41 batting average against. I don't have much to say about him that's like, sort of like over, like what you see is what you get to an extent. He mixes it up a little bit. He will generate some soft contact. I think the best thing you can say about Civale is like he's a veteran, and he's probably going to be able to navigate 5 innings and not get completely destroyed, keep your team in the game. That's I think what you can expect from Civale on a game in and game out basis. Now, Kyle Hendricks for the Angels is kind of that as well, but he's been a much better version of that this year. Hendricks has been tremendous, all things considered. I mean, this is a guy that throws 85, 86 miles an hour. He should not have as much success as he's having at this point in his career, but he has pinpoint control. He throws 4 different pitches. They're all for strikes. And, he just done such a good job at mixing it up that teams, he'll get through 5-6 innings and teams can't really square him up. Gets a lot of, kind of just confusing guys up there. And he's able, all of a sudden, he's in the 5th or 6th inning. He's only given up a run or 2. And it's like another good outing for Hendricks. He's been doing it all season. Now, I do think a guy that throws the way he throws, right? It's basically, Sinker, four-seam fastball are both in the 86, 87 mile an hour range, probably throwing it half of the time, mixes in his changeup, and then he's throwing a curveball mostly down and away to right-handed hitters, just as like a different look. I think a guy like that is prone to getting bombed if he doesn't have his best stuff. One of the lowest strikeout rates in the league, one of the lowest whiff percentages in the league. He will get you to chase at the occasional pitch out of the zone, but the only reason for that is he doesn't throw many pitches out of the zone. Hendricks is almost he really just pounds the zone with strikes. So every once in a while he'll get a swing and miss, on a pitch that's like in the dirt, because it's so infrequent. So this is not a guy that's getting strikeouts. For the most part, the ball is being put into play. And with a guy like that, like, you're always prone to the bad luck start where a couple of those balls fall in. Suddenly it's a 3-run homer, and now you've given up 3 or 4 runs. So because of that, I really don't care to back Kyle Hendricks as a favorite. And that's essentially what that's what they're asking you to do here. Kyle Hendricks, $1.50 favorite. So for this game, I'm just going to stick to my guns here. What I've been talking about for 3 weeks on total bases. As long as the White Sox are going to continue to be value, I'm going to continue to recommend them on a day-to-day basis. If you've been playing along this whole time, you have made money over the last 3 weeks. We've brought it up virtually every day on total bases, and they are 11-9 straight up. Every single game they've been an underdog. I would really like them if you could get the +1.5 here. Unfortunately, that's too expensive. So my free pet play in this one is just going to be White Sox money line. There's still value at that +130, +135 number. And that'll be my free pick for today. If you're looking for all my picks today, for the foreseeable future, Wager Talk is a great special right now. It's 13 weeks of action for the cost of 2 months. It's one of the better long-term specials that we run on the Wager Talk site throughout the course of the year, and it gets you everything. So, it's essentially August, September, October. It's the full 3 months, and it's basically giving you a month free. So check that out. It'll get you all the football, all the college football, and then all the baseball through that time frame. So check that out on my page, and we'll also have Major League Baseball plays up for today. The free pick today is the White Sox, and don't forget total bases. We go an hour. Myself, Tokyo Brand, and Brian Leonard every morning, Monday through Friday, right here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. So good luck today. Free play is the only free play I've got is the White Sox. And I'll see you guys Monday morning, total bases, 9 a.m. Eastern.